Ladies and gentlemen, the following is a no disqualification fatal 4-way match. Introducing first, hailing from Japan, Megumin.
Well, Megumin with a great win a few nights ago against Jay Bronson. A completely different kettle of fish, so to speak, a fatal 4-way match. Don't necessarily have to be pinned in this match to lose. 3 other opponents, it's all going to be wacky and wild. Megumin's really going to have a work cut out here if she wants to beat 3 other opponents. She seems confident and up for the job here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the second participant, hailing from Sanford, North Carolina, Lita.
Well, perhaps the biggest name in this match. Everybody knows who this lady is. Certainly an innovator when it comes to women's wrestling. Can hit those high-flying, devastating moves. But she's never faced 3 opponents quite like the one she's going to have to contend with in this match. May not be Lita's night here tonight.
Introducing next, also hailing from Japan, Liko.
Well, the first of 2 individuals from the Pokemon universe. First time we've seen Liko in action here. Got absolutely nothing to tell you about her abilities inside of that squared circle. We've not seen anything from her. Of course, we hosted the first ever female-only match with Megumin and Jay Bronson. Of course, Megumin coming out on top very, very comfortably in that match, but sure Liko's going to be capable of doing some pretty impressive things in that squared circle. We'll have to find out. Just one more competitor here to come out.
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing the final participant, also hailing from the Pokemon universe,
Grace from the Pokemon X and Y animated series. Certainly endearing herself to this capacity crowd here tonight. Of course, you've got to believe that although this is not officially a #1 contenders match for the world title, you've got to believe a good performance here will really go a long way. Perhaps having her first intergender match on the channel down the line, so showing very important, would be important for the future of women's wrestling on this channel. These 4 ladies know they've got to impress here. Nonetheless, the match is underway. Remember, it's a no disqualification fatal 4 match, pins and submissions only count inside the ring. Apart from that, it's no disqualification, no countouts and no pinfalls. Look at Megumin with a nice arm drag on Lita as Grace gets thrown to the outside by Liko. I'm going to do my best to call this action, but it's going to come thick and fast here with 4 individuals in the ring. Look at Grace now ringing the arm of Liko as Megumin really going to work with Lita with kicks. Now look at this. Snapmare takedown by Liko and a drop kick to the back of the neck of Grace. And now Lita going after Grace, not her night at the moment, trying to apply a crossface. We could have the match finished here, but Liko breaking up that submission attempt by Lita as now Megumin goes to work on a snapmare herself, and now another drop kick to the back of the head. This time Liko not dishing it out. This time Megumin hitting Liko with that drop kick, and Lita, the wily veteran, there on the outside. Probably the smart thing to do in the early stages of this match, just keep an eye on proceedings and stay out of harm's way, but she's come back in now. And Megumin really going to work on Lita with strikes. You see Liko down there, knocked down by Grace. Now Megumin going after Liko, and Lita with a waistlock on Grace, but Grace managing to fight out. And look, a big kick to the face of Lita by Grace. And now Lita the one being turned on as Megumin going after her. Lita managing to fight away, and look at that, right to the eyes. It's no disqualification as Grace throws a drop kick and a kick to the back of the head of Liko. And look at Lita once again retreating, going to the outside and taking a breather. But look at Megumin going right after her as Grace with Liko in the ring. A nice side Russian leg sweep. One of these four women will be the winner of this match. It's really too tough to call and predict who you think's going to win. The great thing about these matches, it's anybody's game. And look at this surfboard stretch submission maneuver. Grace with a submission on Liko, but Megumin coming in to break up that submission attempt. Doesn't give her the opportunity to tap out, but look at Megumin thrown to the outside. And a smart move by Grace, really. You can't win the match on the outside, you've got to be in the ring to win it. It's not a bad idea to keep throwing your opponents to the outside and keep the numbers games in your favour as much as you can. And now look at this collar and elbow tie up though by Liko. Tries going for a move, it doesn't quite work. As Lita now throwing Megumin back into the ring. Look at Grace go with these strikes to the face of Liko. But Liko with a knee to the gut and a strong Irish whip sends Grace tumbling to the outside. Lita's gone on the outside again now and drops Megumin face first. Liko on a roll here. Really means a lot to this lady to win this first ever fatal four-way match on the channel. That was a nice arm drag by Megumin. As Lita and Grace fighting on the outside. Again, not the place to be. You can only win this match on the inside of the ring. You can pin your opponent on the outside. The referee will not make the count. As now Lita finally sliding back into the ring. A hammerlock applied to Liko by Megumin. Again, it's hard to pick somebody that's doing better than the other at the moment because it's just been all out carnage here. Look at that, a chop block by Liko taking Lita down. And now Grace going to work on the knee of Lita. Not looking good here for the high flyer. As now Megumin sending Grace for the ride off the ropes. Tries a move, completely mistiming it. That was poor, but look at this, a submission applied by Liko to the back of Lita. A single leg Boston Crab, but Megumin coming in and breaking that up. And that's the problem you're going to encounter with all of these people in the ring. You need a time going for that submission or pin perfectly. Well, maybe this is the time. Another surfboard stretch by Grace onto Liko. Could have a submission here, but Lita breaking that submission attempt up again. And Lita once again seems to be biding her time again, going to the outside, taking a breather. The smart move by God. But Grace with an elbow drop to the outside. Taking her out like a missile. Well, that plan backfired for Lita. Clearly not aware of her surroundings. Now Liko throwing Megumin to the outside. We've got three women on the outside here as Liko waits in the ring. But just as she thought she was going to get a breather, Lita pulling her throat first against that top rope. And now a quick roll up. This could be it here. Lita with a cover. The legs hooked. The shoulders down and very, very, very close. A split second away, Megumin coming in, didn't break the pin attempt up, accidentally hit the referee, and now the referee is down. We're not going to get a decision at the moment. Look at this dueling moves here. Lita with a swinging net breaker, Grace ringing the armour, Megumin taking her down. Referee finally getting back to his feet now and reprimanding Megumin, but look, Lita had the pin there and he was distracted. Referee too worried about revenge, should have been making the count there. As now Lita goes on the outside to take a breather. Megumin has been thrown to the outside. It's Grace and Liko again. As now Liko with heavy right hands to the face of Grace. The two women from the Pokemon universe. Really all out war here. Beautiful swinging net breaker by Liko. But she has had a lot taken out of her in this match. Holding the head seemingly on jelly legs. But somehow managed to shake the cobwebs there. As now Grace gets back to her feet. And Megumin coming back in. Seeing that Liko is weak and maybe seeing it's an opportunity, or maybe not, throwing it to the outside as Lita has still not come in. Really having a good breather, a good rest, and a really smart strategy. Liko seems to be completely out on the outside. Nice arm drag by Grace, but gets immediately hit with a spear. Well, Liko finally back to her feet, perhaps coming back in the ring. As now Megumin trying to hyperextend the net with that painful submission maneuver, but two women in the ring watching. It wasn't the time to try and finish the match there. And look at that, a low blow by Grace. And now look at Lita with that thunderous DDT. If nobody interrupts, this match is over. But look at the referee again. Well, I think Lita may have had the match won there, but for some reason the referee was having a word with somebody about something. It's supposed to be no disqualification. That's the worst referee we've ever had on the channel. Of course, it's the only referee we've ever had, but maybe that needs to change. Nonetheless, Grace fighting away, sending Megumin for the ride off the ropes, but before she can hit a move, Lita knocking her down with a drop kick. Now look at Liko slapping the bejesus out of Megumin as Lita now comes to dive in. And once again, Liko thrown to the outside, and she's in a pretty bad way at the moment. Out of all of the athletes in this match, I'd say she's took the most damage. Really no way of knowing who is going to win this match. Liko has got back to her feet though as Lita trying to go to work on Grace. Megumin just seems to be watching proceedings. Now she's turned around and seen Liko. A big clubbering forearm there to the face. And Liko's gone mad. Maybe that's the concussion, but nonetheless, perches her on the top rope. Beautiful arm drag off the top. But look at Grace coming in for a behind kicking Liko, taking down Megumin. It'd be a good time to go for the cover. Well, it would have been a good time to go for the cover on Lita if she didn't get back to her feet. But now look at Grace. Modified version of the sharpshooter. Could have been close to making Megumin tap out there. But I believe she took a knock from one of the other athletes. And now Lita thrown to the outside. Only one woman can win this match. The question is, who's it going to be? Look at that. Similar to the Rikishi driver. But Grace can't capitalise on it. Megumin trying to sneak the cover there, but Grace managing to break it up. There's Lita on the outside again trying it. Look at this, Liko with a quick sunset flip. And the referee taken out this time by Grace. He's not having a good night of it. Liko looking in a really bad way. If I was going to bet on anybody, it certainly wouldn't be her. Holding that head repeatedly. She may have a concussion, but look at Grace. Grace showing the effects of this match as well. Well, I'll say maybe not the favourite. Look at this, applying that sharpshooter again. Could have been close to getting the submission there. But Megumin kicking her in the head, and the referee's gone down again. My God, I've seen people drink 2 litres of vodka who can stay on their feet more than this man. Look at that, Grace. Now going for the cover on Lita. Doesn't matter, referee's down, but Megumin breaking it up anyway. And finally this referee getting back to his feet. He may have a concussion, and look at Megumin with a finishing manoeuvre. That Samoan rolling move, I don't know what it's called. Once again, referee not going for the count. Incompetence at the highest level. It's now Megumin ringing the arm of Lita, applying a hammerlock, a simple move. But a very, very effective move. Could pull the shoulder out of socket. As Grace just seems to be staring with her hands on her hips. Not quite sure what she's doing. Maybe she's doing an impression of the FA Cup. Or insert any other trophy in sports. I can't think of another one that applied to most of the people watching across the pond. And look at Lita though with a ring bell. Remember, it's no disqualification. Lita with a ring bell. Trying to nail Megumin. Doesn't mean that time, but she does this time. Lita nailing Megumin with that ring bell. And now going for the cover. Liko's on her feet, but she's on Dream Street. Could she break the pin up in time? No, she can't. Lita, it's your winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your winner, Lita.
Well, certainly on paper, when you look at odds, she had to be the odds-on favourite. It wasn't a clean win. It could have been anybody's match, but in the end, Lita coming out victorious. If you want some great created wrestlers in your game, but without going through the lengthy process of creating them yourself, well, I can help you out with that. If you play on PS2 or PS2 emulator, I can create just for you a custom save data file and preload it with up to 30 created wrestlers that you have chosen. If you're interested, send me an email at pastgengamingemail@gmail.com. My email is linked on the main channel page, and I can also do this for the PSP, but on PSP I can only do save files for the European version of the game.